So welcome back, hackers. We've managed to set the studio for another session in the meantime, and it will be mock interview. And if you want to try a real coding interview designed by Google or Facebook software engineers, so this will be exactly for you. So enjoy.
Hello everyone.
Hi guys.
I hope you can hear us well. If there are some problems at any time, definitely make sure to post comments to YouTube or anywhere else. Well, how this is going to work? If there happens to be any volunteer for the mock interview, you can join the Zoom call that I'm on right now here. In the swap card session, there is a link to the Zoom call. And it means that you will go live and you can do the interview with us. So like you will be the interviewee. So we can wait a couple of minutes, and if not, there is Samuel, and I'll be really happy to interview Samuel. Just in case somebody hops in, that will take priority. So yeah, that's it. Well, as for the interview, I think it's very important for you as a software developer, if you are looking for this path in your career, to be able to, respond to algorithmic questions, but not only algorithmic questions, in a proper way. So this actually needs training. It's good that you can program, but I think it's very crucial that you try some coding problems. Samuel, have you done some interviews like this, or?
Well, actually no. This is my first time. This is my premiere.
Have you done any interviews?
Yeah, I have done interviews in my life, but it was mostly for internship, and they didn't require any coding knowledge. So it was mostly like oral interview where they asked me for my motivation and my skills, but I haven't had any coding interview yet.
Okay, cool. And then I think it's best if you are interviewing.
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
We can start with some problem. Well, maybe first to introduce. There are many websites, and for example, LeetCode is one of the websites. So if you Google LeetCode, LEET code.com, it's one of the websites when you can find problems that are actually used in many software developing companies. And if you go to interview, you will get a question like this, and then you are supposed to do something, for example, live coding, or you actually have to write program that runs and actually outputs what is expected. So we can find these websites, and you can do training interviews or training coding problems, and we are going to do one of them right now. So the problem that we will start with is to convert a Roman number to integer. So Roman number consists of letters I, V, X, L, C, D, M, like Roman numbers. And the point is to take Roman number as an input. So I will type input into the command line, and your task is to print print integer number that corresponds to that Roman number value.
Okay.
Yeah, go on. There are probably going to be many special cases and stuff like that, but that's the problem. And can we have the screen share, please? And if you start coding something, then people will be able to see it soon.
Sure, just give me a minute. I'm gonna put this here. All right. So I'm not a Python expert or anything, but I was doing Python at school, so I have some basic knowledge of Python. And yeah, so we used the module tk-intern in Python because we used a lot of Canvas stuff, but I'm not gonna need it right now. Anyway, I think we should start with getting the input, because that is what you will be doing.
So, okay, maybe first tell us how you are going to do this, or do you have a rough idea?
Okay, so I have already thought about this in my pseudo language, and basically what I think would work the best is that I could maybe translate the input into integers at first. Then I can basically, if you put an input, I can split it by characters,
Yes, okay.
And then each character, I would then change to integer, then add these integers together, and then maybe put back the return function or use the return function to show you the integer value of the character.
How are you going to handle the cases where you have like smaller value?
This is exactly what I'm thinking about right now.
You know, the subtracting part.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe if I use like some kind of if to just see if there's this exception case, or what would you suggest?
Well, you can. How are you going to find it?
That is a good question though. So just to repeat, so if there is more than good question. So if there is more than 4 i's in the number, that would mean that you actually are subtracting, right? Because if you, for example, do number 8, it's v and 3 i's. But if you have to do number 9, it's 1 I and x.
Yes.
So I have to check that there cannot be a case where there are 4 i's next to each other.
Yes, but I think you can assume that the input will be correct, which means it will never happen that anybody types in 4 characters of this, you know, 4 same letters.
Okay.
So you can assume that this will not happen.
Okay.
And you don't have to check for it.
Okay. So what next?
Well, you can start with something and then maybe we can add features.
Sure. Okay, so let's start. So we're gonna ask for the input. I'm gonna give it a value, so it's gonna be Roman number equals input.
Perfect.
And then type your Roman number. All right. So, and now maybe I can use the split function to actually get each character of the Roman number.
Okay.
Do you think that is a good approach?
Yes, specifically in Python there is a better way to iterate in characters of a string.
Should I use like a for loop?
Yeah, that works well.
Okay. Let's do for letter in Roman number.
Yeah, that would work.
Oh no, this is not a function. Okay. Okay. So now I have each letter, and maybe should I just use if function to determine which letter it is the input, or how should I know that the letter V actually means 5? I think the best option here is to actually just use simple if.
Okay, go for it.
Okay, so if let's say letter equals okay, let's do I. Okay, I'm gonna assume it's gonna be all lowercase.
Yes. Okay.
Or I can just use, I think it's like dot lowercase function, but I'm not sure. Yeah. So now even if the input is uppercase, it's gonna be fine. Then I'm gonna maybe create like a integer, maybe integer that would store the value.
Okay.
Okay, so let's do maybe just set it here, integer value, and let's here I can just set it to 0, but I'm gonna add it here. So let's say integer value is gonna, let's say for the simplest case, it's gonna add 1. Oh, yeah, 1. Okay. now I can just use elif to determine if the letter is not I. It can be either then V, X, or C, or N.
Okay.
Right? For basically tens, hundreds, and thousands.
Okay.
Okay. Elif. So I'm just gonna copy this. I'm gonna be, let's say, okay, so next one is V. It's gonna be, I'm gonna just add 5. Okay. And then let's do it for, I think the next one is X. Yeah. We have to be careful here, so no, okay. Yeah, so this is gonna be 10, and we can finish with hundreds. I don't think we will get more than 100. Okay. To make sure it's not gonna be like random.
Okay.
Later I'm just gonna use elif again. And just use the C. All right, so I think we can just check if this works for like the simplest case. Value is then 100, and so when this process ends, we can just return the value. Let's say return integer value. Okay, so let's try this. Ucode.py. Oh, return outside your function. Okay, so let's just do print. Okay.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah. So hopefully this will work. Oh, no. Okay, you can type your Roman number.
Perfect. So let's try with something that you are prepared for.
Yeah.
So say CXXVII.
Yeah. So this should be right. It's 127.
Okay.
Is it?
Sounds good.
I hope.
Yeah. We could do a couple of tests, but now we are not handling the case when we are subtracting.
Yeah.
So say we want to add another valid number. For example.
9.
For example, 9. Yeah, let's do that. So it's IX.
Yeah, so this is not 11, but this
11.
is actually, it should be 9, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. So with this, what I could do is that I need to check. So what I mean is that when you have a Roman number, the numbers should be just descending, right?
Okay.
So C has to be bigger because it hundreds, then tens, and then fives, and then basically ones. But in case of 9, it's actually ascending order because you are putting ones, and after that you are putting tens.
Okay.
So this should be the exception case where I'm gonna use a different tactic.
Okay.
Okay.
So what are you going to do if you find out that something's ascending?
So
that the letters are ascending.
So basically, I'm gonna use the following character and then just actually subtract it from the following character. So when there is IX, then I'm gonna just use actually maybe simple math function like translate X into integer and subtract it by putting I into the integer.
Okay, so and then what happens in your next letter when you actually get to the X?
That is a good question. Well, again, I would check for the next character if it's in ascending or descending order.
If it's not?
And if it's not in which order? If it's not in...
For example, this. How do you decode this number? With
if
your
it's
programming
okay.
line.
Well, if there is not any more integers left, then I would just call the process. Like just
Okay, but wouldn't x be counted twice? Because one for I, you subtract.
well, kind of, but if I start with if I just like do it just the number of times that there is how many integers there are minus 1, that will only mean that this would happen once. For example, if you have two characters, that would happen one. If you have 3, that would happen twice.
You can try.
Okay, so let's start. So okay, so I think we can use this, but I'm just gonna move this to okay. So maybe I will just do can I work with arrays? Because I actually like arrays a lot. And
you can,
okay.
Of course.
So I'm just gonna use a Roman number, and I'm just gonna translate this string into an array. So for a letter in Roman number, just give me a second. This is not what I was looking for. Okay, whatever. So I'm trying to work this out. Roman number. Do you remember like which function is used to convert string to array in Python? Because I actually
string to array.
Yeah.
Like so that you can iterate.
Yeah.
You actually can iterate. Just so it behaves like an array, and you are actually iterating over it as it was an array.
Yeah, here, but oh right, okay, right. So I can use so I can use that if Roman number, and then I'm gonna use the letter position, which is but how do I know the position of the letter? I need to like use another variable. Okay, I can use another variable. I can do like position.
There is actually a function to iterate, and it gives you. So in Python, I think it's called enumerate. So you do for index, comma, letter in enumerating the Roman number, and you can just Google for that, or we have it here as well.
Yeah.
So I'll show you the code from Stack Overflow. So there is this enumerate function, and basically you do for this is the index and this is the element in enumerate, and you put something in there.
Okay. So I can use like so can I use this instead of the for loop here?
Yeah, you can.
Okay, so let's say for index slash for index dash character or comma character or what?
Yeah, like this.
In enumerate. Okay, and so this should be
like this. Here is an example.
This. Oh, okay, cool. Great. So this is what I've been actually looking for, and here I'm gonna just use the Roman value, Roman number. I mean, great. So now I have, but I have to change now this to the character, or no, my bad. Right, I'm just gonna change this. Okay, a letter. So now I can check that if the letter and the index of it, index plus 1, which is the following character, is but again, that I would need to translate this letter to a number. But what I'm thinking is that I would create a function from this, so I can use it.
That is a good idea.
Okay, so Just give me a second. Okay, so I can definition, let's say, change. Okay, and yeah. Oh no. Okay, and again, and again. Okay. Okay, and just put this here. So what I think is that then I would call another function like continue, just random names.
Continue is actually a keyword
right.
in that, so you shouldn't use it. Yeah.
Right. So now definition next.
But do you realize that you have the whole for loop within that function? So if you call the function, you actually iterate all letters.
No, but if I mean.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
You are right, actually. So I need to only enumerate the ones.
You can create a function that will convert a letter to its value.
Yeah, this is what I'm thinking.
Well, you have for loop in that.
Yeah.
So the function has to take one letter.
Yeah. So, okay, so I just can get rid of this for loop then.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, anyway, so I'm just gonna then, what was I actually thinking of? Enumerate, yeah. See in enumerate. And I'm just gonna use the entire.
Yeah, but the round brackets there.
Yeah. Roman number, and then I'm gonna use this function that if the character and the index that is. Oh, my bad. Index plus 1 is, and then just change it to the integers.
Yeah, but you need to, like, the change function has to have an argument, and you need to pass the letter as an argument.
Okay, so the argument can be the current Roman number.
But you don't call it with dot change. You just call the change function and you put the argument inside.
Oh, right. Okay. Okay. So I think we have like a couple of last minutes, so we should just wrap it out.
Yeah. Okay. How would this handle if you have more times increasing value? So say you have IVX or IVC or something like that. How would your program handle that?
Yeah, so the issue with this program is I think that I'm using a lot of elif statements and if statements, so the optimization isn't good, and if you put like a so huge number, I think it's gonna have like not really good. I think it will have like exponential effect on the.
Why is it so? You're just iterating everything once, right?
Yeah, right.
Or maybe twice.
Yeah, this is what I'm thinking, because like if you have like a huge number, maybe you should use a different technique then, because
so what's the biggest number that you would expect? What's the biggest number that we can actually enter with Roman numerals?
Well, you can just a couple of thousands, like you can use with this program only like 999.
Yes, but like Roman numbers support digits, support letters up to 1000.
1000, so that means like 9999.
Well, you can put multiple m's, but it means that like the greatest letter is m, which is 1000.
Yeah.
So the number would probably be in a couple of thousands, not more.
Yeah.
So actually, this is not complex for the computer to compute. So the solution, how we would do this, the trick that you need to find out in this problem is to go backwards. So we would design a function that translates character to the number, but the trick is to go backwards from the end, because then if you have increasing number, you just add it, and if it's decreasing, then you can subtract.
Okay.
Right. So if you have your first example that we had, something like CCVII or something like that. So basically, if from the back the numbers are increasing, for example, or the same, so if you add the next I, you just add it to the sum, and then if the number is increasing, you also add it, and if the number is decreasing, you just subtract the next number. So if you went from X to the next letter, which is I, then the program would subtract that number.
Right.
Right. So that's the trick that you would use. And yeah, we are a couple of minutes behind, so sorry, we need to cut this.
Yeah, we should that.
But hopefully you guys got some idea about how this problem could be solved. And this was kind of, mock interview. So when you go to companies and they ask you, for an interview, then this is something how it may look like. Yeah, our next session is going to be an introduction to Kosice, this city where we're actually streaming from, and I think we are ready to jump into that session.
Yeah,
definitely. So
stay tuned.
Thank you really a lot for watching us, and if you have any questions, find us on Swapcard. I am Juraj.
My name is Sam.
Here is Sam or Samuel on Swapcard. So yeah, thank you.